Now we're at our fourth descriptive statement in competency 6, which reads, the beginning teacher selects and uses instructional strategies to help students use inquiry and research skills across the curriculum, such as brainstorming to generate questions and topics, locating, organizing, evaluating, summarizing, paraphrasing, and communicating information, differentiating between primary and secondary sources, selecting and using relevant, credible sources. When I look at this statement, it looks huge, right? But notice what happens when I eliminate the example section. It becomes much smaller and much more manageable. Now here, we can see that this lesson builds from lesson number 3 in competency 6, which was the last lesson, as this statement shares keywords such as inquiry and research skills. The difference from this lesson and last lesson is that in lesson 3, marked as C in this screenshot from the Texas Education Agency Test Administration website, we learned how to teach students to interpret information presented in visual learning modalities. Whereas in this lesson marked D on the screenshot, our focus is to help students use the research skills that were introduced in the last lesson, plus introduced more, such as examples provided. All right, if you're ready, let's jump straight into this lesson and get you totally prepped for test day. Let's start with why inquiry, which means asking a question for information, and research skills are so important to acquire for our students. First, inquiry is the act of asking questions to gain knowledge and understanding. And in academic contexts, students apply inquiry skills when they seek to answer questions about a particular subject matter, whether it's historical events, scientific phenomena, or literary themes. Developing these skills promotes critical thinking, comprehension, and independent learning. Great. Now that we have the basics down, let's dive into our descriptive statements information. Starting with instructional strategies for inquiry and research. First, we have brainstorming, a group activity where students suggest ideas without immediate judgment. This helps generate a wide range of questions and topics for research. Here are some instructional strategies you'll want to be on the lookout for when you take your exam. Encourage students to create a mind map. Start with a central idea or topic in the middle of the board. As students shout out related ideas or subtopics, draw branches connecting them to the central topic. Note that this can be done individually, in groups, or as a whole class. Another brainstorming activity students love is called round-robin brainstorming, and this is when students sit in a circle. The teacher can choose a topic, and each student contributes one idea or question related to the topic. Note that there are many ways to effectively start brainstorming sessions. On your exam, use your critical thinking skills to identify the area and answer that fits best for the specific question. Moving on to our next descriptive statement, phrase for competency number 6, locating, organizing, evaluating, summarizing, paraphrasing, and communicating information. Starting with locating information, we must teach students how to find relevant sources. Ways to do this include introduce them to school library and online databases. Introduce them to the school library and online databases. Teach basic search techniques using search engines, and practice skimming and scanning techniques for quickly identifying relevant details. Next, we have organizing information. Here, we want to ensure students can categorize and structure their findings. We can teach students this skill with these strategies. First, use graphic organizers like a Venn diagram, flowchart, or T-charts. Introduce digital tools like mind mapping software or other applications. Emphasize the importance of headings, subheadings, and bullet points. Now, let's move to teaching our students to evaluate information. In this case, we want to ensure students can discern reliable from unreliable information. We can help students achieve this by discussing the importance of checking multiple sources, introducing concepts like bias and credibility, and using real-world examples to compare reliable versus unreliable sources. The next requirement on our descriptive statement for your exam is to learn all about how to teach our students to summarize information. In this case, we must teach students to condense information without losing essential details. We can teach our students this skill with these strategies. First, model how to pick out main ideas and supporting details from a text. Next, we can use the somebody wanted but so then technique for narratives. And finally, we can practice the 5 W's: why, what, who, when, and where, in order to help our students extract the key information from their text. Now, in this next section, I'll teach you the strategies of instruction for paraphrasing information, where we must ensure students can rewrite information in their own words to demonstrate their own understanding. We do this by following these strategies. Now, we have compare original texts with paraphrased versions. Emphasize the importance of not copying, but understanding and then expressing in their own words. Practice with sentences and gradually move to larger paragraphs. Once students have completed this, they'll need to communicate the information that they've gathered. In order to do so, we will need to teach our students to effectively share their findings by way of introducing various presentation methods. It might be written reports, oral presentations, slideshows, posters, or more. We also need to teach the basics of citation to give credit to the original sources. Encourage peer sharing and feedback sessions. Not a great test taker? Click the link in the description below to get prepared faster, smarter, better, with everything you need to pass all in one place, so you get the test results you want and become a certified teacher with teacherpreps.com.